You are living in a simulation, and you can control this simply by understanding the power of assumption. The power of assumption changes your world, changes your life. You can create anything that you want, and that's why I'm covering these chapters. Welcome back, everyone. This is The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, Chapter 3, The Power of Assumption. And if you need to go back and check the previous chapters that I've already covered, I'm going to create a playlist for that if you have already missed the first two chapters. But we're going to be covering every chapter in this. By the end of this, you're going to go to the next level. You're going to understand your world is a simulation. You create whatever you want. And that's my goal here. My goal is to share this knowledge that I've learned. I was in prison for 8.5 years. My life was in crumbles. It was at the very bottom. I've been out for 2.5 years. I've manifested the life of my dreams. Multiple supercars, a super truck. I'm about to buy another super truck, another supercar, about to get a Lamborghini Urus. I already have a Ford Raptor that I'm about to buy, brand new delivered to me. Oh my gosh, things are just absolutely amazing when you learn how to control the inner world and know that you're living in a simulation. You can manifest whatever you want. And if you want to get deeper into these topics, I know I'm just covering these briefly, these chapters, but if you want to get into them more in depth, I'm covering those in live events on my school community. It's the very first link in the description. You can join that. We have about 1,000 members now. And it's absolutely amazing, the testimonials and the success that people are having. It's just absolutely tremendous. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. This is Chapter 3, The Power of Assumption. So man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. And this is the mirage of mankind. People blame the simulation for why their life is the way that it is. Once you turn within and learn to focus the direction of your attention and your present moment awareness, you can manipulate and bend reality to your will. All right? So all that befalls a person, or it's a man, but I'm going to change some of the wording here. All that befalls a person, all that is done by this person, all that comes from that person happens as a result of their state of consciousness. Everything is within you. The world is you pushed out, and whatever you consent to being true is the reason why your simulation is as it is. A man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That is why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. Rain falls as a result of a change in the temperature in the higher regions of the atmosphere. So in like manner, a change of circumstance happens as a result of a change in your state of consciousness. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, stated in the Bible. The Bible is just screaming this stuff at us. Romans 12:2. To be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas, for you think from your ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. And usually this happens when you start using your visualization skills. This is when the burning desire comes and you get whatever you desire, because that's the first element. You must know what you want and intend to succeed. Okay, so the first step is the renewing of the mind, and that is desire. You must want to be different and intend to be different before you can begin to change yourself. Because if you're sitting at home playing video games, World of Warcraft, or whatever they play now, or eating honey buns, watching Netflix all day, and you think that's fine, then you're not going to be able to change anything, because you must want to be different. You must want to be better. You must desire to live a great life and to have great relationships, to have great things in your life, to have a purpose in life, to where you're doing something that you have real purpose. There's no better feeling in the world than that. And you must intend to want to create this for yourself in order to have the desire to change, or to be able to change yourself. You have to have that desire first. And that's what Neville Goddard means here. So then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, by desiring to be other than who you are right now. You can create an ideal of the person you want to be and assume that you are already that person. If this assumption is persisted in as you're going to sleep at night. See, he didn't say that here, but this is something that I've experienced, okay? And I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the secret here. If this assumption is persistent until you fall asleep, it will create a permanent state, and you will be attracting these things to come to you. You will be magnetic. The attainment of your ideal is inevitable. It is coming if you fall asleep. If you can create this assumption as if it's happening to you now, and you feel that it's real to you now, and you fall asleep in that, the attainment of that desire, you getting that, is inevitable. And I've experienced it thousands of times. The ideal you hope to achieve is always ready for an incarnation, but unless you offer it human parentage, it is incapable of birth unless you allow it to happen. Allow yourself to be better. Allow yourself to find your purpose. Let go. Therefore, your attitude should be one in which having desired to express a higher state, you alone accept the task of creating this new and greater value for yourself. And in giving birth to your ideal, you must bear in mind that the methods of mental and spiritual knowledge are entirely different. This point that it is only truly understood by probably not more than one person in a million. All right, so you know a thing by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things, by analyzing it and defining it, by thinking of it. Whereas you can know a thing spiritually only by becoming it, only by thinking from it. And this is actually another point that we brought up within the community in the Zoom mastermind. The other day we had the Zoom mastermind in the school community. Is that when you're trying to visualize through your eyes, like trying to see, closing your eyes, but you're trying to visualize through your eyes, this can be very complex, and we're coaching people through this process. All right, so that can create a visual scene, thinking of it instead of from it. When you start imagining and visualizing it from the back of your mind or from the back of your neck, inside, contained within your own mind, that's when you start thinking from it. That's when you start living in the scene and experiencing the scene, okay? So remember this right here. You know a thing by looking at it from the outside, by comparing it with other things. This is what you don't do. You don't do this stuff. Do not compare it with other things. Don't analyze it. Don't define it. Because if you do, you're thinking of it. Whereas you know a thing, you become a thing. You become it. It is you. You are being it. That is when you're thinking from it. You are it. You are that person already. Okay? You must be the thing itself and not merely talk about it or look at it from a distance. You must be like the moth in search of his idol, the flame, who spurred with true desire, plunging at once into the sacred fire, folded his wings within till he became one color and one substance with the flame. He only knew the flame who in it burnt, and only he could tell who near to tell returned. Bird Parliament. Just as the moth, in his desire to know the flame, was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your present self. You must be conscious of being healthy if you are to know what health is. You must be conscious of being secure if you are to know what security is. You must be conscious of abundance if you are to know what abundance is. And you can do this simply by going within yourself. And remember this right here. Just as the moth in his desire to know the flame was willing to destroy himself, so must you, in becoming a new person, be willing to die to your old self and incarnate and create this new version of yourself. Reinvent yourself. You must die to your old self and become someone new. Therefore, to incarnate or create a new and greater value of yourself, you must assume that you are already what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption. What I found through experience is this is important to do this throughout the day, to assume this, but it's not absolutely necessary. You can do this simply by doing it before you go to sleep at night. That's when the real impression is made. But if you're doing it throughout the day, you're practicing and developing yourself up until that moment of inception. You must assume that you already are what you want to be, and then live by faith in this assumption, which is not yet incarnate in the body of your life, in confidence that this new value of state of consciousness will become created through your absolute fidelity to the assumption that you are that which you desire to be already. You are already that being. You're it. You are it. This is the whole means, or this is what wholeness means, what integrity means. They mean submission of the whole self to the feeling of the wish fulfilled in certainty that new state of consciousness is the renewing of the mind which transforms. The renewing of the mind which transforms, like it said in the Bible. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. There is no order in nature corresponding to this willing submission of the self to the idea beyond the self. Therefore, it is the height of folly to expect the creation of new and greater concepts of self to come about by natural evolutionary process. That which requires a state of consciousness to produce its effect obviously cannot be affected without such a state of consciousness. And in your ability to assume the feeling of a greater self, to assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess. Imagination, the instrument by which you create your world. To assume a new concept of yourself, you possess what the rest of nature does not possess. Imagination. Imagination is the instrument by which you manifest and create your world. Your imagination is the instrument, the means whereby your redemption from slavery, sickness, and poverty is effected. If you refuse to assume the responsibility of the incarnation of a new and higher concept of yourself, then you reject the means, the only means, whereby your redemption, that is, the attainment of your ideal, can be effected. Imagination is the only redemptive power in the universe. However, your nature is such that it is optional to you whether you remain in your present concept of yourself, a hungry being longing for freedom, health, and security, and abundance, and loving relationships. All right, so, or you can choose to become the instrument of your own redemption, become abundant, successful, imagining yourself as that which you want to be, seeing yourself in your imagination, that this is the person that you want to be now. Who's that person that you want to be? Ask yourself that question right now. Who do you want to be? Become that person right now. Fall asleep being that person, doing things that that person would be doing in your imagination. And you will satisfy your hunger and redeem yourself. And your world will transform. The simulation will change. I've experienced it. Hundreds of people that I've coached have experienced it. Unnumbered people in the community right now, in school community, have experienced this. Oh, be strong then and brave, pure, patient, and true. The work that is yours, let no other hand do. For the strength for all need is faithfully given from the fountain within you, the kingdom of heaven. All right, everybody, we're going to be moving into chapter 4 next. Absolutely love this. Like I said, this is chapter 4, Desire. We're going to be getting into this next, but this was The Power of Assumption. This is chapter 3, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. All right, so we are going to continue to cover these. And remember, if you are interested in going more into depth, you're free to join, or you're free to apply to join to my community on school. You're going to be asked a few questions to see if you meet the criteria to join the school. But you should, if you're on this channel and you're interested in creating a new version of yourself and becoming somebody new, you're going to have that ability to join my community. It's the very first link in the description. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next chapter.